You think your audience needs more value. They don't. They need a reason to give a fuck. And right now, your offer isn't giving them one. If your content isn't converting, it's not the algorithm, it's your offer. Watch this before you waste another month guessing. The blueprint is in the description below. A lot of you want success through content. A lot of you want to achieve leaving your 9 to 5. Even upgrading your tax bracket, right? All of these things are realistic and they are real. And you can take practical steps to get there, but you have to understand that there's something called your offer. And right now, your offer is weak as fuck. So point one, what makes an offer weak? It's unclear who your offer is for, right? So a lot of you like to people please. A lot of you are people pleasing. You sit there and you try to please everybody, right? Like we had I forgot that guy's name, Joey. He's a bodybuilder. I'll pop him up on the screen if I find him. But he made a comment on Hulk Hogan, right? And the internet went nuts about it. But Joey's style of delivery, right, and Joey's style of content / the way he operates as a masculine man within the space of gym content, I don't think he said anything too crazy, right? Because you can't please everybody. And while, yes, it might be some controversy around who he supports, but realistically, if you're pushing a brand, you're going to deter some people from your brand. It's just inevitable, right? And the people that understand you and your brand will resonate with the message that you speak, even if it goes against people's morals, if it goes against the overwhelming crowd that doesn't agree with you, right? So you have to stop people pleasing. And your messaging or your offer is probably generic, right? And it has no pull because it's so generic. So what you have to do is make it specific to your audience. Don't reinvent the wheel, just color the bitch. Literally, every business model that you could think of works. There is not an offer in a business model that doesn't work. It's the fact that y'all try to figure out how to reinvent the wheel and try to put yourself through unnecessary hardship to get an outcome that you don't need to change anything. You just need to add your flair to it, right? Everything's the same. Apple's one of the most loved brands on the fucking planet. Why? It's not that other smartphones don't exist. It's that they're unique in the way that their smartphone offers you capabilities, right? They're unique in the way that they operate. Their ecosystem is very fucking magnetic, right? And so you have to be clear about your specific audience that you're serving. And I added these pictures here. Is this for the fucking high luxury people looking to go to a fucking 5-star Michelin restaurant every fucking night? No. What is that for? Gym bros and women at the gym. Very easy. Specific audience. Target them. And is it that gym clothing is hard to find, or there's not other gym brands out there? Of course there are other gym brands out there, but it's my brand. Right? And so the deeper you go into the brand, you will then make more specifications for your audience to be catered to, that your brand will cater to. So when you put Unruly, it's understanding what that is, what Unruly is as a brand by following and consuming my content, and then making sure that people in the fitness space then attribute the characteristics of my brand along with wearing the fucking clothing. So be very specific, and you don't need to reinvent the wheel. The wheel's already there. Just color it with what you desire, right? And then second, you're solving the wrong problem. So let's pause right here, and I want you to I really want you to take this point in, right? So here's your ideal target audience, right? Between your transformation that you're promising to them, there is something called a value gap, and you might have heard me speak about this before. The value gap is where they are and where they want to be, that gap between. That's what that is. This green right here. That is the value gap. So what you want to do is you want to focus on the process of getting them to the transformation, which will then realistically give them real ROI. And it's a must. You have to prove that value gap that you're filling, that your value, that you're going to sit between where they are and where they want to be, actually creates the results, right? A real return on investment. So they're going to pay you an amount, and that amount better get them to this fucking platform over here. So they better be able to do that right there, that jump. Right? And so you want to focus on the process of getting them to their transformation and not the fucking result, which is cash for you. Do not focus on the cash. Like I say all the time, cash flow is not the fucking objective here. Transformation and value and a greater goal is what you need to focus on. Right? And so your product needs to sit in that value gap, and you need to worry about the process of getting your client or your potential client from where they are to where they want to be, which is the transformation. Right? And usually, again, for the client, where they are right now to where they want to be needs to bring them some sort of cash flow. It doesn't matter what business you're in. You're in the fitness brand business and you're teaching people how to cut weight. Sure, yes. Well, the transformation is them getting big, muscular, or small from being fat to getting more attractive. What do you think that attraction is going to do for them? It's going to make them feel good. What is that going to do for them later on in their life? They're going to be able to go out more confident. What does confidence do? Attract abundance to them. What is abundance? Abundance can be money. Right? And if you're doing it for businesses, you're literally all business owners worry about is their bottom line. So you better be bringing them fucking cash flow. Right? So where they are right now, revenue wise, they need to be upgrading revenue wise. Right? And it's the same shit I teach y'all with structure and cash flow. For the students that I have, what are you focusing on right now? Structure and cash flow. We worry about structure first, and then we get into cash flow. So what is my transformation? Giving you a bulletproof fucking structure so that you can hold all the cash flow with all the tactics that we give you within Objective View. It's usually cash. That's the return on investment. So if you work with me and you pay me cash, what I'm going to try to do is 10x it, 5x it, 3x it, right? We're trying to increase the amount of cash flow that you get through systems and tactics, which is my product and service. And you have to understand whatever your product and service is, it needs to get somebody from where they are right here to their transformation. And then they will pay you for it. So don't worry about the payment. Worry about the process of them getting real ROI, which is getting them but from where they are to their transformation. All right, cool. So next, another part that makes your offer weak is if it doesn't separate you from clones. If ChatGPT can write it, it's too soft. No edge and no mythos. You have nothing special about you. You're just like the other fucking people who hear a business model and they just do it verbatim, looking it up on Google and fucking YouTube with no personality, no flair, no conviction. Right? And so this needs to be you. You need to be the person who puts on a different style, uses the same business model, but adds a flair to it. Adds their understanding, add your life story. Like we spoke about before, when you are going through giving your offer, it's not all about your story only, but you have to inject your story in there somewhere. If you're a student of mine, or if you're watching me, you understand, hey, I was at fucking Coca-Cola putting bottles on a shelf until I created my fucking content agency, got out of there, 10x, and then fucking 15x my income. Very simple story, but it's integral to my brand overall. No matter where you go in it, no matter what part of the ecosystem you're in, you understand that story. So you have to know that your story is what makes you. Clones just get the information. And you might be on fucking social media seeing all these people on ads talking all sorts of bullshit. Let me change this. Let me come into your business. I'll work for free if it doesn't work. So I'm going to pay you to do some shit that doesn't work, and then you're gonna continue to do the bullshit for free, even though it doesn't work. You see what I'm saying? That's because a lot of people are in this clone category. They follow the wave, they follow the trend, they have no real life experience about what they're doing. Right? And even those who go viral and blow up and they get all this fucking stardom in terms of attention, they look to monetize it by talking about how they can do the same for other people, not realizing that their goal was never to go viral, but they've now attached their identity to the virality, and now they're trying to teach people how to fucking do it on social media, which is cool. It's your existence, but it's not true. There's no true rooting in it because it's about being viral. There's no goal in there for you, right? And some people assume the role of going viral as the goal. Hey, that might work for you for a few years, but it dies out. Right? Your goal has to be deeper than you. Must. And a lot of it needs to be associated with finding this value gap. And that value gap that you can then create a product to sit in there will then fuel you and fulfill you, right? So your product should be fulfilling you to some degree, because a part of my product not only is filling the value gap to get you from where you are to where you want to be, but it also is helping you within the masculine space, which is my overarching goal, which then brings me fulfillment when I give you my product and you transform. You see how that works? Cool. So find your edge and find your mythos. Find what makes you different, but use the same business models that get everybody else going, because we're all using it. You think other people don't have content agencies? Of course they do, but they monetize it in different ways, right? Their personality is injected. Their story is different. Everything is different about the way that they do it. So you have to find people that are different. And if you are trying to jump into the content space, you have to know that you are individually you. And you need to find out what gives you fire in your soul to keep you going, and how you can inject your story into your business, because that will give you edge and give you mythos over these fucking clouds, right? And stop using ChatGPT to get all your goddamn business information, because it's too soft. It has nothing to do with you. While it's a great tool, don't base your entire business existence and profile on ChatGPT. We'll talk about that a different day. Right? So point 2, like this video if it slapped. Comment war ready if you know your offers next. And subscribe if you're building your cash flow empire with law and not luck. The violent offer. You need violent clarity when you are speaking to your potential client. You must understand what the pain is if they don't move. So the pain of their inaction, and then there's your offer. And you have to give them an ultimatum. So as you speak to your clients, as you book calls, as you get leads, as you go out, even when you're speaking to women, other men that you want to be friends with or bring into your circle, there is always a pain of inaction. So you're telling them, yo, if you don't do this, this is what's going to happen to you. However, if you come with me, I'm going to give you said thing that will bring you to your transformation. Give them an ultimatum always, and make sure, as a matter of fact, we're going to do that in a second. Make sure that it's outcome focused, right? So your potential client, you want to always get them to a place of telling them the outcome, and it needs to be backed emotionally, right? So what they get should be emotionally undeniable. They should feel it within their soul that the outcome that you told them they're going to get, they will receive. So they understand where they are. They understand that that's the transformation, and they know that your product and service and what they're getting, they're fully convicted that when they step into your offer, they will get to their transformation. Therefore, it needs to be emotionally charged. People buy, right? But they have to be emotionally charged. They do. So focus on the outcome and not necessarily the process, right? Don't worry about the process when you're having these sales calls. Oh, we have this, 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 we have this. No, talk to them from a place of where they're going to be. Right? When I'm doing my agency work, we talk about where you're going to be once you start to use social media in your benefit. Right? Where does that life look like for you? How does the life that you want to live look at your end goal? Right? Get them to tell you exactly what they're looking for. And then understand how your offer or not works. And you have to be real with yourself. And that means you need to know your offer like the back of your hand. Because if your offer can't get them to the transformation, do not take the money, because you don't want to focus on the cash alone. You do not want to focus on the cash alone. So don't, right? Focus on getting them to their transformation. And if you know your product can't do so, do not fucking take the cash. You are not a good fit, because you are looking for a specific target audience, not everybody, right? And so next, scarcity and urgency. Always push scarcity and urgency like your fucking life depends on it. If you have 5 spots, right? Like I work with 10 men a month personally for 6 weeks at a time, right? When I get to around 6 or 7 men, I'm then putting up a poll to show you like, yo, you have 3 spots left. It's either you jump in or not. Because the next time, what am I going to do? It's going to increase the price. If you don't jump in right now, you're going to have a price increase. And when you also see that it works for other people, you are going to desire a spot the next time I open up. So you might as well jump in right now. Create the scarcity, which is the limited amounts of spots, and create the urgency for them to move. When people understand that those spots are filling up and they want to get to their transformation, and they understand that what you provide gets them to their transformation faster than they could do it alone, they're going to want a spot. And if you continue to push down their fucking throats, that those spots are filling up, they're going to come to you quickly, right? So scarcity and urgency will get people to come to you, and also make sure that you understand that this price goes up, because the longer and more transformations you make, the more valuable you are. That means there's more demand, right? So always understand that your price has to go up, and keep your fucking clientele specific. Again, if you understand that your product does not bring people to where they want to be, do not take those people on. Point 3. So if this hit, you're finally done playing content creator. Grab the Unruly Blueprint and rebuild your offer from power, not bullshit. The link is in the description below. Solidify your offer right the fuck now. Choose a clear enemy. Slay one dragon. Don't know what that is. Distractions, right? Mediocrity. Pick a fucking dragon to slay. Fitness, changing people's bodies, right? Pick it and choose it, and make sure it's only one that you're trying to slay. Because when people see that, okay, cool, I'm here, I want to be there, they need to be focused on one thing, not everything at once, right? If you worry about everything at once, people don't move. Overstimulated. You're going to change my body, you're going to change this, you're going to change this, you're going to change this, you're going to change it. Where do I start? And even if you do give them a starting point, they still don't know where to move, because now you've given them too many options. But when you streamline the fucking where you are to where you're going to go and follow these steps, it's way easier for them to follow the path, because they understand where they are, they understand where they want to be, and they will go there. Point blank, period, right? And so this is what it looks like. If you identify your enemy and say, hey, if you don't move, you're going to end up like the enemy. And we, in my brand, don't accept the enemy. That means they can clearly understand what the enemy is, and they can see themselves, if they don't move, as the enemy, right? Or they can move and transform their life with the offer. And that's usually where people are in mental framework. That's why you want to give them their outcome first. Let them tell you where they want to be. And once they tell you where they want to be, you then provide the offer that will give them the transformation to bring them to said goal. One fucking dragon to slay. Only one. Kill the enemy, get to where you want to be. Right? Death or destiny is what helps you with this. So what happens if they don't move? Right? Here's your potential client. What happens if they don't move? This is pain of inaction. You have to know what the fucking death is, because realistically the death is just them turning into the enemy. What happens if they move, which is just your offer. Right? So you want them to move, but you have to understand this. And it's very easy, right? Because once you understand what the enemy is, you know what the transformation is. And that works with the laws of the realm, like we talked about, on the scale of polarity. When you're going after your goal, there's where your goal is and the transformations you are trying to cause. And then on the other side of the spectrum, it's your enemy. You see how all the laws are going to bring you to where you want to go. And this is why I talk about the law so much, because it's literally true and it's everywhere. So you understand where you want to be, or the enemy. And you have to understand that people are sitting somewhere between in the spectrum from where they want to be and the fucking enemy that you describe throughout your brand. And you have to know and memorize all of that. Very simple. Knowing where you want to be and what is the enemy. And memorize it, because all of it is just a fucking framework. Once your specific clientele is written down and you understand who you're looking for, it's much easier to then seek out these people and then give them the framework of where they are. And if they don't move, the enemy, and if they do move, your offer. Memorize that to the T so that you can say it without even fucking thinking. And third and lastly, post your fucking CTA everywhere, shamelessly. Your repetition is your reputation. And that's why it's so important to have specific clientele, because if you take on clientele because you just want the money, your reputation goes down. It goes all the way down, which then kills your repetition. Because the more people talk shit about your offer and your product and saying that it didn't fucking work, that means the more you start to post all the time about this CTA, people are going to be like, yo, I don't fucking want to work with this dude. right? And you see it all the time. Public claims come out about brands, and they either die or they close the fucking lawsuit. They settle it because they want the people to shut the fuck up so that they continue with their repetition and continue with their positive reputation so more people buy into them. So it's the same thing that you have to do with yourself. Once you have the structure to understand yourself enough, you can go out into the marketplace, decide who you want to work with and who you don't want to work with. Pick a fucking enemy, because you need a fucking enemy that you are telling your community and the people, the specific target audience that you picked out, that is not who you want to fucking become, right? And if you come with me, this is who the fuck you're going to turn into. And for y'all know exactly how I operate. You have a terrible structure and you're a weak man. We cannot deal with mediocrity. You have potential and value. So now it's time to fucking fix up your goddamn structure so that you can cash flow and become the man that you want to become. Point blank, period. Your structure needs to be fixed. That's it. And then you can extract your value and your skills to then monetize from. And you have to figure out whatever business model you're in, what the enemy is for you, and how your product can transform your specific target audience. Right? So your final decree. Men don't go broke because they lack talent. They go broke because they're afraid to demand obedience with their offer. Harden the weapon or stay in the civilian class. Consider yourself warned.